Good evening, everybody. It's Lisa from the brand Lisa Horton Crafts, and tonight I'm here in place of Sheryl, who is very busy with work at the moment. I'm going to be using quite a few different things. I'm not sure where we'll end up. I do know we're definitely going to be using that one. And I also know we are definitely going to be using, where have I put it? This one. So this one is super cool. I absolutely adore this. I was using this in a reel that I've created this morning. So I'll try and get that loaded as soon as I can. But this is great because this one gives you all the sentiments just kind of in one pass. And not only that, it cuts them out for you. Now I've got the die here somewhere. And you'll see here straight away, you've got the die that's going to cut all those pieces out. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And I'm going to give you a little hack as well. If you've got the platinum and you've got a machine that works with the better press, and if you've got a better press. So it really gives you, the better press gives you lots of opportunities, is basically what I'm saying. And also, this is a great die on its own. So kind of forget about everything else and just have a look. Look at how that cuts beautifully. So you've made yourself a frame already. Let's get a piece of black card. This is the A6-ish card. But if I pop that behind there straight away, you can see this is going to be super cool. What you can also do is not stamp, but the pieces that fall out, if you just cut it, you can colour them in different colours and make it almost like what are those cards that you paper piecing, so you can place the pieces back inside. So that's another thing I do like to do. Sorry you're not going to be seeing my face tonight. It's just that I'm in the studio. It is ridiculously hot. And I haven't brushed my hair and those kind of things. You know what it's like, ladies. I just feel... you only need to see my hands, don't you? That's all you need for tonight. So that's kind of some of the things we're going to be using. We are going to go a little off piste, I am sure. I'm also going to be bringing in some of our ink pads. So I'm going to be using our colour shift ink pads. I don't know, I might mix it up a bit. I don't know. We're going to see where this kind of takes us. I would try and keep it to around 45 minutes, but you're talking me, aren't you? So again, I don't know where this is going to land. Right. Now, I have got my Ultimate. So we're going to use our Ultimate. The first thing we need to do, though, is die cut some of these flowers. Now, I am not going to use any coloured cardstock tonight. Everything is white card, literally white card. Okay, so I'm going to bring in some of my ish card. Bear with. I do need to get some more ish card, that's for sure. And I've got the A6. Now, the beauty about the A6 is that it works really well for things like this. But also, you can pretty much get everything you need on one plate when you're doing a simple card. So I might actually use a couple because I don't know how many flowers I'm going to do yet. Let me think about this. I'm going to do those. I might recut that one. And then let's bring in that as well. Yeah, I think that's where we'll go. Let's move these out of the way for a minute and bring in our plates. So what I think we'll do first, take these pieces away, excuse me. Apologies, this is live as well, so apologies if I cough. The studio today, it is, let me tell you, it's 1:15 in the afternoon, and I thought it was supposed to be cooler this afternoon, but it really is not. Lily is, at the time of this, was feeling really poorly and had to go to her room, and that's very unlike Lily, but it is very, very warm indeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that there. I might put a little tape on that. Let's see what we've got lying around. Yeah, just so they don't move, just so I can get kind of the most out of this card. So we'll run that through. Okay, let's bring in the platinum. My platty green, which is phenomenal. So come down that way. And I've found that this machine has literally done everything I've needed it to do, you know. It's such a little workhorse. Right, that's going to come through like so. So as I said, no editing in this. So if you see me doing things, if you see me stop to have a drink, which I'm going to do now, that's so I don't cough. However, I want to do it all live for you, as if I was Sheryl, So we'll turn this over, pull these pieces off. This card, as you know, is 280 GSM. So some pieces fall out, some don't. Let me get my tweezers. Now I do need to invest in some new tweezers. So apologies, my tweezers are so disgusting. Look at them. I normally use these to open my re-inkers. That is the reason. So here we've got like a little piece in the middle. Just pop that out. We don't need that. Take the tape off for a minute. I tend to pop the one in the middle and then pop a couple of these. Now my tweezers are super bent as well, so let me see if I can get behind there and just pull that out. Now be careful because it's very detailed. Now you'll see, actually I'll bring that, oh that's better. You can see it's got some of the debossed lines in there, but we need to keep that one out. And then we'll take the tape off that one. Again, pop that piece out in the middle, and then we'll come in here and peel that off. This one was still inside, so get rid of that. You don't need any of those tiny little pieces now. I've probably got a piece up here on my desk. Remove that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo some of these. So let's take the tape away. Let's bring this in, and I'm going to pop some more. No, let's use the same piece of card because we've got spare space. Now that is a little bit of glue that was obviously left on my mat, and I've now put down somewhere my eraser. But what you can do is you can just take your eraser and get rid of that, okay, very easily. And over here. So any glue that was left on your plate, you can take it away easily enough. Okay, so let's go back to where we were going. We're going to do a second one of these. And I'll take that. And I'm debating whether we want a second flower. No, I'm not going to do a second flower. So we'll leave that like so. So we don't need these pieces anymore. We'll put those away. Pop that back here, and that's the large one, so we'll pop that like so. Now the reason I'm doing this is because we have got a reel coming, which I recorded earlier, as I said, which uses this flower and the technique that we're doing now. However, obviously because it's speeded up as a reel, because we only get 3 minutes or 90 seconds actually on Instagram, no, Facebook. Well, one of them, you get 90 seconds for the reel. Yeah, Facebook. It means it's not always easy to see some of the things I'm doing. So if I do this in real time for you, it will be much easier. Let's move that out of the way, bring that in, and move that die cutting machine. Now, as I said, we're not using any coloured card. We're literally going to be sticking to black and white card, blending brushes and ink. So again, turn that over, take that one off, keep your tape. I've got lots of tape on the side of my desk, and then use those really dodgy tweezers to get that out. Do you know what, though? It's funny. They're dodgy and they're, you know, they're grubby and they're rotten, but they absolutely do the job I want them to do. So I'm not going to be worried about that. Do you like that? Do you go back to your old favourites all the time? It's really weird. It's I feel like I'm a bit of a creature of habit with crafting. I know what I like. I know what I really don't like. But I continue to, even when I get new things, sometimes if the old things are working perfectly, I don't swap out for the new things until I have to. So let's take that one and pop that back in its spot. Noises outside as well. You're getting it all tonight. Pop this away. You hear that? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but it sounds like a fire engine or an ambulance. So 3 colours of colour shift. I just adore these inks. I really do. And you know, it's very easy for me to sit here and say, yeah, these are the best. These are phenomenal. These are this, these are that. But you see me use them, don't you? You don't see me using substituting for things ever. I never substitute for another ink. I always use my favourites. These two have become seriously fan favourites. But then this is kind of, this one was always my favourite, but now this is good. And also, of course, this one as well. Just there's so many opportunities with these inks. That's why I love them so much. So this one, let's pop that there just for a minute. You don't need to see that one for now. And we're going to start, move those out of the way. We're going to start with Coral Waters because it's the lightest. Now, if I grab this piece of card, you'll see on my brush there's still a little bit of ink from previous use. I do like taking that off because if we are using colour shift, so you can still see the shine there already. And especially if you change up your colours or you want to use, I don't know, a metallic, you're going to end up with the shift of colour. So I'm going to come straight in with the Coral Waters and I'm going to go into the middle like so. And you'll probably see how much easier these are to blend out. And I love it because you also get that matte finish. Now I'm going to swap that one out. I'm going to bring this one in and we're going to do the other thing. We're going to go from the outside in. Do the other thing? What's the other thing? It's random. Anyway, let's turn that around. We're going to come in that way. And you'll see this kind of settles as that corally pink. All of our inks kind of do this. So they start off quite heavy, but as they dry down, they really settle. Interference is just the best for that. The colour shift, what I love is that now, I'm hoping on the top one you can start to see that that is a matte finish. That isn't this really, really shiny interference finish. But when I tilt it, you still get that shimmer. Now that one has got the kind of bluey shimmer coming through it. Same here. All right, same here. So what I'm going to do is put those up there for a moment. And then I'm going to grab my mister bottle. Just mist once. Now, what I did earlier, I keep saying now, so tell me to be quiet. Stop saying now, Lisa. Where did I put that other piece of card? I had an important piece of card to show you. All right, well, it doesn't look important, but it is. So when I did the video earlier, my mopping up, I used this piece of card. So I'm going to continue to do that because what this is going to give me, it's going to give me a super cool background. So if I just do this, and just down here, grab all those bits. And now this is going to be great as that dries for another background. And it's things like this. You know, you use that with that. See that already? Very cool. Now I've just noticed I haven't turned my other light on. I'm just going to skip to the side for a second. And I've got another light that I need to put on because it might give us that extra bit of shine that we need. Let me see. Not sure, but we'll have a look. Let's see if I can come back and show you. I don't even know if it's made a blind bit of difference. It might have done, it might not have done. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's bring that around a bit. For me, it helps, even if it doesn't help you. Anyway, so that's another light on there. Sorry. As I said, this is like super live, isn't it? This is super live. This is no editing. No editing. Right. So we've turned the lights on. I'm a bit happier. I can see a bit better now. Anyway, let me now come in with the watermelon spritz, okay? So the watermelon spritz is darker. If you look at both of them, I don't know if you can see that, but that has got that more coral appearance. So the next thing we do now is we grab, I'm using the same brush. I'm not worried about the brush. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to pop a little bit of this into the lid. Okay, like so. And I'm just going to do the ends. Just those ends. And it will kind of feed into the other colour as well. It's not blended yet, but it will be. If I just literally pop that in like so. Now you could do a yellow in the middle. And when you put this colour over the top, it will kind of go orangey, which is also beautiful. But I can see already, now that's drying. Let me see if I can show you. If I hold that up, as that's drying, I'm hoping you get to see the two different tones there. Yeah, and you can see also the different colour shimmers coming through. Let's pop that up here, and you can see now that's very different to that. So on these edges, you can see the two colours. The coral waters is very different to the watermelon spritz. Okay, so don't be fooled when you get them. You think, oh, they're the same. They're absolutely not. So then I'm going to go into the middle of this one, just in the middle like so. So we're going to have nice kind of light leaves at the edge and darker in the centre. So we've just got almost a reverse. Then what I'm going to do is, again, show you that as it dries. Oh, my tweezers there. And then I'm going to bring in that mister bottle again. One tiny spritz. We'll bring that piece of card back in, like so. Let's see where I'd like some more colour. There we are. Starting to build up beautifully, isn't it? And so we've not wasted hardly any of that ink. And I bring my cloth back in, wipe that down. What you might also notice, you get quite a bit of staining on your silicone mat. It is the nature of the beast, and that's what's going to happen. So you just have to go with that. Then we're going to come in with this one, which is the green. So we're going to use the avocado gold. Just wait till you see this. This is just off the chart lovely. Just going to put my other brushes away. Apologies for the noise. But if I don't put them away, I'll end up in a big muddle about what brush is for what. So avocado gold in the middle straight away. As I come out, I'm going to get lighter. You'll see it just, I mean, these are just ridiculously good. And I can see this has gone matte already. This is great. Loving the tones as well you can get by pressing lighter and harder. But I don't want any lines, so I tend to just be gentle, like so. So in the middle we're darker, the edges were lighter. If you want to darken your edges, you absolutely can. You're not going to see that middle really, but I do want you to have the appearance of like a verdigris look. You could bring in a yellow again now if you wanted to. I don't think it needs it, so I'm not going to. But when I lift this up, even so that's so matte, looks matte, completely matte. Can you see that shimmer starting as well? Very, very pretty. Very pretty. Okay. Again, it's the tiniest bit of ink there, but we'll do the same thing. One. And we'll grab whatever we can. So I want some here. That's great, yeah. And over here. Oh, that's going to look good now. So, yeah. So that, for me, is a stunning background. And actually, you could use that with this if we trim that down. Let's see where it takes us. Let's just see, because I wanted to show you those other bits with the better press. With the better press, but without better press plates. So I will just one more mist on there and just wipe off the excess. Right. So this is kind of what I say to you. This on my Ultimate, I have one silicone mat, which is the one that stays in there that does all of this kind of dirty stuff. I tend to have a second one. We do sell them separately. They come to you rolled up, so I'd unroll yours and put it underneath something, or kind of turn it over so it's not rolling up, it's rolling down. Put it under something heavy and leave that. And then you've got a spare one if you want to do anything pristine. But do you know what? It doesn't really bother me. So now what I'm going to do with these leaves, I put my finger in the middle and I push up with my thumb. And I shape, just push up. See that? Come round there, push up all the way round, push up. And what that does, try to be careful because you can end up creasing your card a little bit if you've got thick card like I have. Or you just use something like this, and you can kind of roll it around if you've got something like a bit smaller, or if you've got a mat that you like to do your flower forming on. Absolutely, yeah. But if you haven't, look, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at the difference already. And then I'm going to do the same here. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm going to go around. And I don't mind if any of them crease, because it gives me more the appearance of it being real. There we go. That one. This one has got more blue in it, so this must be the coral waters. I can see the blue. And I think what happens when the watermelon spritz and the coral waters join, they kind of, the shimmer is pink and blue and purpley. It just really changes. So I'm going to bring in some wet glue. Now I'm bringing in wet glue rather than tape runner, simply because you've got the shimmer here, and we want to really, really make sure these are popped down perfectly. Now we can do it with the light or the dark behind. I'm going to put the dark behind, and then I offset like so. Yeah, always offset. And then I bring in my ball tool, my trusty lovely Tonic Studios one I love. I was going to do some ball tools, and then I thought, you know what, I really like the ones I'm using at the moment. Oops, turn that around. Pick that up, and then you can lift that up if you want to. So you can go all the way around and kind of play with those. And then we put the glue down again. Might put a little bit more down actually. And then we're going to bring this one in, and I literally am going to squish that up a little bit. All right. And then offset that against the red one. Already, look at that. It does look like a real poinsettia now, doesn't it? And this is from those all year round blooms. So if you're on the fence, hopefully you can see how stunning they are. And that, if I get the packaging, that's this one. So you can use the different shapes as well to make different kinds of flowers. All right. Definitely one worth grabbing in your basket, 100%. So I'm going to move that to one side for a minute. Let's put the lid back on the glue for now. And I'll bring this in. There's a couple of things we could do. We could use gold, or we could use copper. Let me have a look at what I've got. You'll hear me rummaging. Oh, actually, let's use bronze. Let's use a bronze. So this isn't going to be too vibrant. I don't want it vibrant because I wouldn't expect to see it vibrant. So let's take that out of the way for a minute. And I'm literally going to get my bronze. Look at that. Just love these. So I've got my brush for my bronze. I'm going to take that like so. Ha, ha, ha. Looks really dark there. Really dark. But let me pick that up for you again. My fingers. You now see that bronze from those metallics. Just look at that with that. That's going to go great. So yet again, naughty. I don't know if this is a good move or a bad move. We'll soon find out, won't we? Do I put a bit on the edge to see if it works first? I think I do. Yep. No, we're going to go with that. Yes. Nice. So again, wipe the rest of that off. Bring this in. Now the metallics stay wet longer, but I'm literally going to squeeze these little fellas around the edge. Just go around, see that? Now, and I'll turn him over. Put our glue there. This is so pretty. Can you see why I wasn't sure if I was going to do one or more? Because I didn't know where the card would go, as in like, not like the mantelpiece, I mean, but where it will go in terms of design. So I'm going to pop that down. Now the little pieces that pop out the middle, you could keep those if you want to pop them back in. I'm going to leave a bit of glue there. I don't think I've got any glitter in here, which is a crying shame. However, let me see. Oh, I've had an idea. I've had a really good idea, actually. Fantasy. This is when they get ruined. I should have some open ones. I don't even know where they are. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm just going to lift that. Yes, that is a Lisa. If this works, it's a cracking idea. If it doesn't, that's a very silly idea. So I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to take the little tiny bit. I'm going to see, and this is why your tweezers end up looking like they do, Lisa, because you do silly things like this. And I'm going to pop that in the middle. Yeah, I like that idea. So let's see if we can get that dried before the end of the show. And I'll be honest, with the temperature in here, it might even happen. Put that back on the shelf and wipe your tweezers for all it's worth. And your palette knife. There we go. Right. Stage 2. So let's pop that to one side. I'm liking that. I've got a little bit there though. You see that? I mean, it's a very pretty poinsettia, isn't it? Let's pop that here. So the next thing I want to show you are these sentiments, because I didn't get to demonstrate them on TV. I didn't. And they're so good. So let's move this out of the way. The thing I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in my Better Press. And you might think, what on earth is she doing? Let me move that out of the way from that light. That's I've still got my light on from when I was doing my recording for my phone. So I'm going to put a piece of card here. We're going to go white and I'm going to take that down. This is the beauty of the Better Press. If you don't have a Better Press, I can highly recommend it. And if you think, well, I don't have plates, you can, if you've got foil plates, you can use them. Or if you're thinking of getting them over time, you can, but you still can use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side, because I've already done the other side. And this is So Very Merry, Winter Wishes, Joyous Noel, Snowflake Kisses, Joy and Peace, Seasons Greetings, and Across the Miles. So hopefully my head's not in the way, but let me pop that like so. And you think, well, that's not going to go through your machine. No, it isn't. You don't need it to. So I'm going to pop that down like so. Stamp down, lift up. Now, because these are photopolymer stamps, exactly what's happened. The reason that's happened is because I didn't put my tape close enough to the cardstock. But I lined it up in that corner on purpose so we knew exactly where it was going to go. But I'm glad you saw that, because I've only caught a tiny bit there and we barely caught any in the other position as well. But now I know when I put that back down, it's not going to cover anything. I'm happy. So let me move that off camera a little bit. I'm sorry, I should have moved that light, but I didn't. This is your best friend. This is your best friend. It loves photopolymer stamps. It really does. And all we're going to do is we're going to ink this up like so. And if I get the inking right, this will be a one pass and done. A one and done. I'm going to grab that. And then all we do, I think I might miss a little bit on the very, but that's my bad. That's not this. And then we're going all the way down, across the miles, lift up. Do you know what I mean? Can you see now what I say? Honestly, just absolutely worth it. Tiniest bit on the merry, but you can't see that, I don't think. And that's me just being really fussy, ridiculously fussy. So take that off. I'm going to keep these pieces here for a minute. Pop the Better Press away. Let me just give this a little wipe. My little wipe consists of another piece of card, because I don't like getting the fibres from anything else. I mean, and actually, if you wanted to use any of those, you could. I'm not going to, so I'll keep doing that. Just to clear that. So that's done. That's nice and clean. That can go back on its sheet. Where's the sheet? Here it is. Pop that back there. Pop our other piece over the top. Keep it nice and clean. And I'll move those out of the way for now. So let's move our machine out of the way, our better press. Let's pop that back in its spot so I know where to find it next time. There we go. And we'll bring in our die. Now this is where I might have to come forward a bit, just because if I don't, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up not getting this straight. So literally across the middle. I might go quiet when I do this because I've got to get it straight. So forgive me if I'm not perfect, but I have got a camera over my head. So I'm going to leave that like so. I'm going to go across there. Because this is a fast drying ink, you don't have to worry now. It's be dry, 100% dry. You could use your Swift Dry for this as well. I'm going to use that. Bring that out. This, when you put it in, don't put it in straight. Put it in at an angle. 100% an angle. Stops it going over too many humps and bumps at once. There we go. And it goes across a lot smoother than it would if you did it the other way. A couple have already come out. Very easy to do. Put those there. And then we can take our tape off. Look, and we've got another one of those. I'll show you something cool with that in a minute. I might not get to do all of what I wanted tonight, but I'm going to be back on Tuesday with a live as well for you because Claire's still busy. She's got a lot going on at the minute, so I've just told her to take a bit of time off and yeah, just we'll fill the gaps for now. So look at these. So we've got all of these. Now earlier I did these ones as well. So you've got your Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, Jingle All the Way, Oh Christmas Tree, Sleigh Bells Ring. I used Festive Hugs earlier, so that's not here. Winter Wishes, all of those, right? So that's what you get straight away from a couple of stamps. So I'd highly recommend these as well, to be honest with you. So where was we going to go with this? My plan was to use this, and I was in my head going to pop that across here and pop a sentiment in, but now I'm looking at this, I might have to dry it off a bit, but I'm wondering if I want to put that behind it as well. I think I do. So I'm going to get my heat gun. I'm going to dry this off. My heat gun isn't plugged in. So yet again, you're going to hear me wandering around. So just, I've got to climb over the bin. I've got to do... See, if I had your face on, you could be watching and laughing at me, but I don't want you doing that tonight. I just can't, you know, I got my shorts on and everything, and I just, no, can't do it tonight. Let me just plug this in, turn that on. Let's see if I can, let's see if this reaches. I hope it does. You should, honestly, you should see the state of my desk. So I'm going to do this, just on a light heat. Now you can bring your silicone mat in, silicone, so you're fine. You go fast. And then we turn that over. It isn't really wet, but if I'm going to be gluing this, I want to keep it nice. Somebody asked me where I got my heat gun from. I got it from Amazon. It's absolutely fine. Okay, I'm going to unplug. If I don't unplug, I'll forget. And then when I leave the studio, it will get to 11 o'clock tonight and I'll be going, Danny, can you go in the studio and unplug my heat gun? So we'll take that off now. That's all done. Right, I'll go put you away. Da, da, da. So we are going to have to trim this down a bit. I mean, I should have gone the other way as well. But another little trick I'm going to show you is if your paper wrinkles too much, all I do, I'll get another piece and put it over the top. And then I go like that. And then I run that through my die cut machine. This has come from a lot of experience. Okay, bring that over. That's much easier to work with, isn't it? Now, I don't know if you're going to pick up the shimmer. You might not. However, I can. Now I'm going to try something. Camera 3. Don't know if camera 3 will pick it up. I think you can see a little bit on camera 3. Super pretty. There you go. Okay. Back to camera 4. I have to make sure I press the right button then, or you might have seen me in my shorts and my vest top, and not a good look on a 58-year-old. Right. Now, we're going to come in with this and these, and we're going to trim this down. I hate trimming it down because actually it looks really nice like that, doesn't it? That looks good on there. Anyway, just let it go. Let it go, Lisa. So now we're going to trim this one down so it's smaller than the card. Okay. And we could do... No, I'm gonna stop there. I've had a really good thought. I do have them sometimes. I've had a really good thought. Okay, no, we're mixing it up now. We're going for it. We're going to trim this one down. I'm going to trim you down. Okay. Right. Okay. You know, when in your brain you get this really good idea, and then when you do it, it doesn't look quite as good as you thought it was going to. It could be that. It could be that. But let's that and this. Now, because I just did this by eye, as in the putting the die on there and also cutting, who knows what's going to happen here. Wow, I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right, so we're going to do that. Die cutting machine. Back we come. Where's the die gone? Now, let's not be silly. Here it is. Here it is. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut this. All right. So I actually didn't really need to... just going to get some white bits on it as well. Do you want some white bits? See that? Just down here. I didn't really need to heat set that after all that, but it's fine. Oh, no, Lisa. See, now I've got another idea now, you see. So I could use the outside edge of this. So I can't use that white bit. I'm going to go like that. I know it's not perfect, but I can trim that down after. That's a whole nother card. Right, so we run that through. And here we go. I have no idea how long I've been recording for, but this has got to be more than the 30 minutes I was going to stick to, or the 45 minutes. I'm so terrible. Okay, right. You can mat yours onto a piece of, onto your card blank. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to use wet glue because we need to do all these pieces. There we are, all the way through. And it's so hot, right? So what is it now? 10 to 1, 10 to 2. It is so hot because I had to turn the fan off that my glasses have slipped down my nose and they're about to fall onto my chest. So I'm going to glue this quick because I can't actually see what I'm doing now. I bet you say, when's Sheryl back? Sheryl, come back, all is forgiven. Oh, dearie me. Right. Glasses back. Come on, Lisa. Right. I thought it was supposed to be cooler today. What's happened to the weather? Get all them hairy bits off. You know what I mean by the hairy bits? It's the card sometimes leaves those little bits, doesn't it? Right. There we go. Straight down the middle. And I've just seen on here in this corner a little bit of glue. There we are. Genius things these are. Okay. Little bits. That makes me happier. So now we can lift this off. And I'm going to pop that down like so. Keep them in position. I want it that way. You'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to get my glue again. Just paper piece them back in that. And I tend to put my glue not so close to the edge because it's going to squash out. And I do probably 4, and then I'll put the paper in, and then I'll do the next 4 because that's easy enough to do. And we'll go first one. Like that. So this is just that waste paper, you know, that's our cleaning up paper. Look at that. And third one. And in theory, you could also use these to stamp on if you wanted to. Now, I'll put this one in and then we'll look at the next ones in a minute and you'll see where my idea is going. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm now thinking you can go here. No, let me see what I can do. Hang on. If I did that, if I put that there, and then put the other ones either side, or do we go all the way down? We're going to try it. That's why I didn't put the glue on all layers. Let's see what we think with that. Sorry, just bear with. Or do I go? Or maybe I don't. Maybe I think I might put all of them in. Yeah, I'm putting all of them in. You're probably shouting at me now, going, you should have done it the other way. But look at that. Oh, man, that's just beautiful, isn't it? That looks like a designer paper. And then that's going to go here. And I think we might cross that here. So it crosses the line here. And I might even trim it down a bit, you know. So let's put the foam pads on the back. Mm-hmm. I only need one. And then we can pop that here. Sorry if I'm going a little bit off the edge. Just going to take that back off there. Pop that in there. And then a tiny bit left on here. I might put it on the back here. So I'm stuck on my finger. Still a bit damp that in the middle, so. And then I might put a little bit of glue on that just to give it a little bit of extra hold. There we go. And I'm going to pop that. So that's great. And then I can just kind of, that's better. There we go. So that's all filled that in there. And now we can just pop that sentiment on. Take that back off. And we can do just like so. Now we could have matte and laid that onto black, but I'm fine with that. So look at that little topper. And then all you got to do is pop that onto a card blank. That dimension. Really, really cool. So if I move all these bits out of the way, so there's your card. We use these gorgeous dies, which are the all year round blooms. We use the quick pass stamps and dies to create that, kind of that outside edge and the sentiment. And then we used our ink pad. So we only used 3, didn't we? We used that gorgeous avocado gold, coral waters, watermelon spritz. And as always, we use that fantastic black. You can use any colour you like. There's a ton of them in there. There's just a few more, you know, you could use. We've also got this left, haven't we? So this could be beautifully placed on some black card now. Couldn't it? I could trim the top and the bottom. We could do the same. We could do something different inside if we wanted to. But again, just another way of using it. So move those out of the way. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of inspiration into what you can do with just minimal products. So we've got our all year round blooms, our quick pass stamps and dies. We use Smish card, and we've used our fantastic colour shift ink and our solid black ink. So thank you for joining me tonight. Apologies that you didn't get to see the lovely Sheryl tonight. She will be back with you next week as always. Tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. where I will be back again with some more content for you. Have a lovely evening, everybody, and apologies for the faffing, but I hope you enjoyed that. See you all later.